Hello Rog fans, Tinfoil Hat edition. Today the Rog is pondering a very interesting muse. Have all the illegal restrictions around the world, apart from China because it's probably legal to do that there, regarding this, were they really there because of this? Or are they really there to allow nature to rebalance itself because of all the crap they pump in the skies? As you can see, the old Satan box, the old Satan box, is available for a bit of mind control later. Must tell me what to think, must tell me how to say it. That's going to be a bit of fun, isn't it? But in the short term, that's what Roger's been thinking about, because here in the UK we have an actual law, which is actually the Act, which is not only illegal because it was not voted in by Parliament and it didn't follow parliamentary procedure, which is law, so it is actually illegal, which is why the Crown Prosecution Service in the UK has dropped every single case that has been brought to them regarding any infringements of this Act, because the Act itself is illegal. So police arresting people under an illegal law is not legal. It won't stand up in court. So that's all fallen to bits. But was all this oppressive, anti-human nonsense been created because of what they've done to the environment? Because remember that these people since the early 70s have been pumping aluminium oxide, or aluminium salts rather, and barium oxide into the sky, to either make it rain or stop it rain or diverting weather. Which is one of the reasons why we've always got a drought in Africa. Droughts in Africa were not common. Once every 15 years there'd be a drought, and that's not a good thing. But because they had a rainy season, most of the time it was fine. Mysteriously, they no longer have a rainy season. It seems that most of Africa, the weather seems to mysteriously just go under Africa and then go around it. And then we see what they did in America. They're always testing their weather modification technology in America. The Californian governor, whoever it is who's in charge of California, each one of them has come out and said, oh, we're using weather modification technology to stop it raining or make it rain. Because there's been a drought, so we're going to make it rain with modification technology. Is all this pumping all this crap into the sky, which they've been doing for a long time, has it reached a point where there's so much of this stuff which is not able to be dissolved into the ground and actually tends to kill things? It's actually reached a tipping point where we're on the verge of having uncontrollable violent weather and death of all ecosystems. And so they thought, well, we need an excuse to lock everybody, apart from politicians obviously, in their own homes, because politicians are exempt from all laws, in their own homes, so that we can actually stop putting stuff in the sky, and they won't notice we're not putting stuff in the sky because they won't be outside to see it. And this seemed like a brilliant idea, especially when there's a couple of interesting things that we can't talk about, even when I'm wearing this, because YouTube says no. But anything I could possibly suggest that may be allowable is, yes, because it's not against the official story. Brilliant. Have a look at a guy called Kerry Mullins. He was the guy who invented the test for this. And have a listen to what he says about his test, which he got a Nobel Peace Prize for. That's all I'll say. I'm saying nothing else about it. So, is that the reason we've all been illegally locked in our homes? Contrary to Section 13 of the Human Rights Act, which says that each member, that's us, shall be innocent until proven guilty, especially in this country where this Act did not even need to exist, because we have the 1984 Public Health Act and the 2004 Civil Contingencies Act, which are designed to stop the movements of people with infectious diseases. We already have it improved. They put that in place in 2002 when SARS came out. Now, anybody who knows anything about virology will tell you that the first version of a virus is the most hideous version, but it tends to only attack usually a small group of people, but it does hideous things to them. There are a couple of exceptions, but the term small is relative. So if it's like a flu, it might attack 50,000 people. and they might horrible things to them. If it was something like SARS, which is for a respiratory disorder which really only attacks people who've got weakened immune systems and medical issues, are already weak. Say a standard, say pleurisy, which I think does about 20,000 people a year. The original version of SARS, or the first version of the virus, would probably only attack 5,000, but it'd probably all die, which is hideous. Now, when the virus mutates, it becomes weaker, but it becomes more widespread. Now, in 2002, we had SARS in this country. 2 years later, we had the Civil Contingencies Act was created to govern that, because that was quite a hideous virus. 2012, SARS-2 came out. Now, interestingly, and I can't go any further than this, so you're going to have to just look for it yourself, do a bit of research, the old magic noodle. For the 10 years between 2002 and 2012, between SARS-1 and SARS-2, no pharmaceutical country in the world set about trying to create a vaccine for it. And now 2019 comes along, and they say there's a new version, but they don't call it SARS-3, which breaks all the laws of basic virology. Because it is that if it's supposed to be the third version, you call it SARS-3. It can't be SARS-2, that's 2012. That's old news. And in the interim time between 2012 and 2019, which is 7 years, no pharmaceutical company on the earth, or in it, created a vaccine. And that was for a weaker virus. So is it all a lovely scam to stop us from going out so that the weather can rebalance? Well, the Rog has been paying attention, because while he's been unfairly suspended on partial pay when he's done nothing wrong, for well over a year now, the Rog has been able to actually observe the natural world. And certainly in the Rog Garden, the Rog Towers, the Rog has noticed that the weather has almost gone back to normal. It's been probably 10 years in this country since we actually had a genuine winter. We had the seasons in the proper cycles. It's been probably more than that. Just winter alone. But last year, we had winter started at the correct time. It lasted for the correct duration. We actually had snow pretty much for 2 weeks, which was excellent, because that's where it should be. We even had thick mist in September, which we used to have 20 years ago, which was a sign of autumn, and all fog so thick you couldn't see a street post, you couldn't see a lamppost. Cars would be driving at 5 miles an hour because they couldn't see the road. We had it last year for off and on for 2 weeks. The snow came when the snow was supposed to come. Winter came when it was supposed to come. Winter went away when it was supposed to come. It was great. And the one thing that they weren't doing is pumping their chemical crap in the skies, because the skies were clear and blue for nearly 5 months in this country. That's unheard of. Got to wind the clock back to probably the 70s for that. It was amazing. Autumn occurred at the right time, and it had the right stuff and went the right way. It was excellent. And this year, as last year, when they stopped putting the crap in the sky, life came back to the garden. There were more birds. There were fluffy bees buzzing about. I'm a buzzy bee, I'm a buzzy bee. I haven't seen those for years. Amazing. And this year I've seen standard Bumbulus fuzzius, maximus fluffius, and I've seen wild bees as well. And on the actual wall of the Royal Gardens at Rog Towers, there's a concrete base, and this time of the year, when the Rog goes outside to plant spider plants, there's usually about 40 of the black teleporting spiders that scare the living bejesus out of me on the wall. This year, the Rog counted 124. And the lawn was full of them, all teleporting around the place, scaring the willies out of me. There's 3 types of ants now as well. And I've seen caterpillars. I've seen caterpillars before. But one thing the Rog has noticed is that things are coming back to life, not in early spring, but more towards very late spring, early summer. Things aren't recovering as quick as they used to do. But there's definitely a lot more things. And there's just a weird Dayglow green moss that's growing as well, which has like little ferns in it. I don't know what the hell that is. Is that to do with that stuff they're pumping in the sky? I don't know. But all I know is that when they stopped doing that, it was beautiful weather. Absolutely beautiful weather for literally 10 months. Brilliant. And I noticed that in the last 3 weeks they started pumping the stuff in the sky again. And in this country we've had the weirdest weather. Saturday, beautiful day, lovely, sunny. Discovered a wasp nest in the shed. That's a different video. Sunday, lovely sunny day, but there was an Arctic breeze. Where did that come from? I could have frozen an ice lolly, it was that cold. But it was lovely and sunny. Blue sky, clear skies as well. Monday, horizontal rain, hurricane force winds. And today, it was beautifully sunny in the morning, then it's sort of sunny and rains every half an hour to hour. Just little sort of burst of rain. It actually hailed today for 15 minutes. That's since they put the stuff in the sky. Have you noticed anything like this? Is the tinfoil hat baking the Rogers noodle? If you've got any thoughts, as usual, plop them in the old comments. And don't forget, it's not reality, it's YouTube.